So my table in the Airstream is broken. It's come off of these tracks when I'm going down the road. No matter what I do, it continues to come off of these tracks. And what I found out is one of the brackets is broken, and so I tried to glue the bracket to the table, and it ended up just ripping the plastic here. So I'll have to glue that back together. And what happened is this piece right here just broke off, and so I need to get a replacement somehow. Hopefully they have something at the hardware store to keep that in place. And then I'll be able to fix it. So I'll go down and see what I can find at the hardware store to fix that. Check back with you later. This is the way it's supposed to look. It's supposed to be one piece, but it broke off somehow. I'll check back with you later. So what I had to do to fix the table was to purchase a full extension ball bearing slide set that I got at one of the big box stores. And here are the directions for putting it together. It costs $13.62. The regular price, I guess, is $12.84, and then tax. So I got the 12-inch, and also got these screws, and they're kind of like locking screws. They have a little bit of plastic or something in them, so they're supposed to help keep things in place. And I purchased this Craftsman combo wrench to put everything together. So I'll show you that in a second. I wanted to videotape the entire process of putting it together, but I needed assistance, and it was a little bit of a long process trying to figure it all out. And then this is the piece that popped off, that ripped off, that I still need to glue on underneath the table. So what happened is, on the other side of the table, this thing goes all the way down underneath the table, but one of these latches broke off and on the other side, and made it very weak. And then what ended up happening is this slider came up, and the table would slide off every time I went down the road, so I had to bungee cord everything. So what I did is I took apart the table, or it was really already apart. I'll show you that here. I took these screws out on either side. Then underneath the table, I removed these screws here. And what you have to do is, on the top side of this plate that's attached to this oscillating type pole type thing that it's attached to, you have to use a Phillips head screwdriver to keep it in place on the top side, and then unscrew it from down here. And that's why I bought that special kind of a tool. I don't know all the names, official names for all these tools. The hardware store is pretty good with figuring out what I need. You can see where I still need to fix this right here and glue that piece back in. But this sliding thing is what I replaced, this whole piece here. And two of them come in a package. and I got it at a big box store. It was 12 inches long, and it was fairly easy to put in. I just used the same existing screw holes that were already there because they weren't stripped. There wasn't a problem with the table being attached to the screws. It was that this piece broke, and on the other side, like I showed you. Additionally, this plate is attached to this, I guess, oscillating type mount, and there's 3 screws that keep this in. Well, one of the screws was rolling around the floor, so I had to also attach that screw to here as well to keep this plate in place. So you can see it's not moving anymore, which is great. This definitely looks a little dirty under here, so I'll have to clean that up and then glue this piece back underneath here. And but that's how it got fixed. Like I said in an earlier video, you're always finding screws, nuts, and bolts on the ground on every trip that you take, and you just have to figure out where they come from and try to get them back into place. Otherwise, things continually get worse with breaking. So this slides very nicely back into place, and it snaps in there. And then what I do is use this little bar that they have and then just lock it into place. Oh, you can see the screws come loose. The one I was just talking about in the center there, I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, I'm going to get on that right now. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's the screw that's come out for that plate. So I'm going to have to maybe use some Loctite in there to keep it in place. So that means I need to take the whole thing apart again. And you'll get to see me put it back together. I have to take out all of these screws again to fix that plate screw. Always something. So what I did is I removed the screws on all 4 of these on the plate, and now I should be able to just take this lid completely off and access the screw there, and that's what I'm going to do, and tighten it down. So I just lifted the tabletop off, and you could see this screw that keeps coming out and rolling around on the ground, the floor, so I'm going to put some Loctite or something in there so it stops coming out. I have the Loctite. So I tightened it down with some Loctite, and we'll see how that does. Now I'll put the table back together. Since I have the table off, and I decided to go ahead and take out this screw, and I'm going to go ahead and patch this up. I have it apart and make it look a little more aesthetically pleasing. So I got that on there, and we'll just hold it in place and put it back together. So I put that screw back in place, and now I'll go ahead and clean up the table to get some of these grease spots from where, not sure why things get so greasy here and there. Not sure where that comes from, but clean that up. So what I had to do was take the screws out that were in here and over here, and now I need to attach these to that square metal post, or to the post with that square metal top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I gotta do that without the table attached. Okay, so we'll get doing that now. One thing you should do after you take these apart or off of the back of the table is take a ruler and draw yourself a straight line on either side, because if these holes that are drilled that these brackets were attached to are stripped, you can just pick a different place and pick one of these holes along the line, and you know that you'll be there in the center. As you can see, it's here, but you can pick something else and it would be in the center of one of these holes. Hopefully they're not stripped. I haven't ran into that yet. The only problem I've ran into is going down the road and having these metal things break and come off of the rack. It's ridiculous. The roads around the United States are pitiful. Anyways, okay, enough complaining. I'm going to go ahead and move to the next step. So I got this side in. I have the screw there and over here. Okay. And so now I'm going to do this other side. And there's a little locking washer and and then these are the little screw things that I purchased at, or I shouldn't say screws, I should say bolts or nuts that I purchased at the hardware store, and they have some kind of little plastic or rubber in the side, inside of it, so it's supposed to lock it a little bit better. That's what the hardware man said. So I'll go do those two sides. So I pulled over at a rest area, and looks like even bungee cords can't keep this table in place. I'm gonna have to take it apart again and redo it. I'm not sure this is the best solution with these sliders. Not even sure what the sliders are for, other than allowing people to sit behind the dinette, which nobody ever does. Too small. But yeah, so this is not a good solution. See, it's totally come off of those sliders, even with the bungee cords. Check back with you later. So I just put the table on the floor, because I'm just at a rest area here and I'm still driving, and it looks like that broke off, that side, and they just pop on out. So very frustrating. So what I did is I brought the table out to the back of the pickup, and I'm going to go ahead and take off these sliders, or this slider's still attached, the other one's still on the tabletop. So take this off, and I'm going to have to come up with a different solution. But, when I'm going down the road, and I use my RV, when I'm going down the road, it just needs something more secure than these sliders, and I'm not sure why they come apart like they do, but I need a more permanent solution. I can't be dealing with this every trip I make. And again, I don't slide the table in and out. I don't have children that get behind a table. I'm a solo RVer. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and I'll go ahead and do the same thing inside. So these are the sliders that I need to take off. I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Oh, that's right. I have to take off the bolt that's underneath. And I'll need 2 hands. So I just took these off. And now I'll wipe that down so it doesn't have a bunch of grease on it. And then think of something else I could use in its place. Or come up with a different solution because this is just not working.